Back at the club field with the new and improved carbon cub, UMX carbon cub from Eflite. They've made a few upgrades or a few changes to it. They put a vent in the canopy here, and they open up the cockpit to allow air flow through the cockpit from the engine compartment back over the brick. So they added some cooling. They added a couple of little vents on the aileron servo covers, which I'm not quite sure what that'll help, because you probably don't want those vents when flying off the water. But anyway, it's one thing I've noticed is it initializes quicker. It doesn't seem to be as touchy or sensitive to how close the transmitter is. This will be the maiden flight. I've mechanically adjusted the controls, trimmed them out. I'm not sure where the CG is going to be on this one, so I'm running a 325 milliamp hour thunder power 325 65C pack, and I've got the ailerons in the second from the innermost holes. The rudder and elevator are both on the innermost holes. So max throw on rudder and elevator, and not quite max on the ailerons. Bit of a breeze. Didn't turn out to be very nice. It was supposed to be a nice day today, but the fog, it kind of lifted a little bit, but it's still kind of soupy, and a little bit of a breeze. About maybe 40 degrees. So not the weather that they forecasted for today, but it should be good enough to get this maiden in. This thing also now has the 2500 kV motor in it. The original batch, it said on the box that they came with the 2500, but they really have 2300, which most of us find is actually a better motor for the micros. That's what most of us have found, that it's a better match in general. Control check. Now let's see here. It's a little tough to see. It might need a little trimming. Not sure yet. It looks to be flying pretty straight. And I haven't given it, I think I gave it one click of right aileron trim. I'm flying along at about a third throttle. Maybe a little over. Hard to see out there. A little bit of turbulence there affecting things. Other than that, I didn't really have to trim it at all once I got the mechanical trim set correctly. That's how it should be. People are saying that this 2500 seems to be quieter than the 2500 kV motor that came, say, in the original S-Bach or the new S-Bach, and I guess I'd have to say seems to be true. This is with a stock prop at the moment. Let's see about a vertical climb. Oh yeah, it has uncub-like vertical performance. Motor's making a funny noise or something is. I'll drop about half flaps, and there's a partial flap slow flyby. Of course, I don't use any elevator mix with my flaps, I just slow the aircraft down. Full throttle takeoff. I'd say maybe it's a little easier to flare with this plane. I noticed that, well, my original, I had done mine anyway, I had to modify the elevator linkage and get rid of the U-bend just to get enough elevator authority for a flare. And with this one, I just moved the elevator in to the innermost pushrod hole, and elevator pushrod in the innermost hole on the control arm horn, and that seems to be enough to allow this one to do a reasonably good flare. I think I'm just a tad tail heavy at the moment for my tastes on this aircraft, but just by the way it's handling the breeze. A couple of clicks of down trim to compensate for that. That was a dead stick, even. Let's try that again. Yeah, nice little three-pointer. I'd say, at least it appears, that it is easier to do a flare with the new and improved carbon cub. Trying to fly this thing in a skid, and it doesn't really like to. I guess if there's any place where I would say AS3X may get in the way slightly, it would be trying to fly a slip with this plane. It just doesn't care for slips. And there we go. The new and improved carbon cup. Flies very nice, just like the original. In this case, I don't think the 2500 kV motor is that much of a detriment. It also initializes a little easier. Not quite as finicky. So, all in all, I'd say I'm happy. But my fingers are cold. I was going to switch and try the 50-30 prop, but my fingers are too cold. Well, there's where my lightweight Thunder Power 325 65C pack from RC Babel ends up. So if you can kind of see that there. Hopefully I'm pointing at it. Oh yeah, they also added cooling holes on the bottom of the cub there, because if you're going to let air in, you got to let more, you have to have more room for it to get out. So I expect, well, I never had any overheating troubles with my original cub, so mine was fine even in 100+ degree weather, even with you know, big high power, higher power batteries and really long flight times. Mine was just fine, even in a lot of heat. But some people with the original had a problem with the speed control going into thermal protect, and some didn't. So it looks like they addressed that, and it appears that they made the elevator, they increased the elevator authority slightly on this one. However, it doesn't appear that there's any real mechanical changes, so maybe they just were a little more careful with the linkage. Well, there you go. It's my fingers are freezing.